Many of you know that over the last several months we have been releasing new products that Sarah and I discovered in our travels to Morocco. We started first with the exquisite neroli orange blossom oil from the beautiful agricultural region of Chemesset, and then we released the argan oil with its extraordinary healing powers from the argan forest around Essaouira. And so now we have a third and final product to present to you, and this is the Moroccan rose, from a region that, in my opinion, is very extraordinary. It is the Valley of Roses that lies between the northern Sahara Desert and the Atlas Mountains. And in this particular valley, there are incredible qualities of the environment that you'll see in this footage here. And from this very special, unique ecological system comes a rose oil that, in my opinion, is really truly unsurpassed, both in the beauty of its natural fragrance and its therapeutic properties. So when we made this trip, we were introduced to a remarkable gentleman who is in charge of the agricultural production, cultivation, harvesting, and distillation of the Rosa Damascena in the village of Khalat Maguna. And so this is Mustafa introducing the environment and the quality control and the organic standards that he follows.
The quality, I can assure you, the quality, it's one of the best. Why? Because we are following all the quality requirement. And also we take all our we produce and we send it to our lab for the quality control before send it to our customers. So we are not just distillating oil and putting it in drums and shipping it. No, we have to make sure that it's the best quality. If not the best quality, it's not going to be shipped even to our warehouse. We want to use the same way that people used to use it for centuries. So we want to keep it the same way they plant it. We want to keep it the same way.
Nice.
If we can afford to have it the same quality that they used to have in 100 years ago, that's our goal. To keep it the same way and to have the same quality. I just want to show you how we irrigate the rose. It's the old-fashioned way. Now you see the water coming using the gravity motion. So it's going by gravity to the rose. I want to show you if I can give Sarah a rose from Damascena. And that's for you. That's the real Damascena rose.
Those of you who have taken some of my workshops know that the quality of the oil that is the final product of distillation is actually everything that went into the plant. It's the environment that the plant grows in, the sunlight and the water, the air, and so forth. And this particular rose oil is significantly different than other rose oils from other parts of the world, whether it's the Bulgarian rose or the Turkish rose. It's distinctively different in terms of its fragrance. It's still a classic rose oil fragrance, but it's unique in its lightness and clarity. Many rose oils tend to be quite heavy or heady, intense, and this one is very, very fine, refined, actually. And this is because of the environment that it comes from. And as I mentioned, it's a unique ecosystem. The valley where the village of Maguna is about 65 kilometers long. There's a river that runs through it, and this is in the at the northern side of the Sahara Desert, and the water that comes is actually the snow melt coming from the Atlas Mountains. And so it's a meeting of mountains and river and desert, and the entire region has been planted with these roses. And so this is Mustafa telling us why these roses from this particular region are so interesting and unique, and why the oil is different than from other regions.
You will find out that you have some palm trees, you have different trees mixed, and that's the diversity. That's what's strong about that. So it's like it's good for the ecosystem. We don't want to take anything and make it clean. This doesn't help us. In some plants you can find them, they clean everything. You see just the soil. We don't want that. We don't want nature to be natural with nothing fake. The Iranian, they have rose. They have a good quality. Syria, they have it's Damascena, it's Damascus. But Bulgaria or Turkey, they like I said, it's under greenhouses. It's treated. You can feel the man and the technology in it. Here, it's just nature and water. Even the water that's from the mountain, and it's pure. Even the water is not treated from rain or from snow. That's all.
One of the realizations that I have had in my travels, working with different distillers and people who are involved with agriculture, reforestation, and so forth, is that the condition of the world is really a reflection of our own intelligence. And I have been in some places that were so beautiful that the thought crossed my mind. I was struck by the realization that really all we need to have a world that is like a garden paradise is just intelligent agriculture. And in the village of Maguna, in the surrounding areas, I had that feeling again when Sarah and I were walking through the fields that were planted centuries ago with these rows of Damascus rose. And this has been there ever since. And these rows were planted to delineate the borders of the properties.
I'm going to show you a house of the first people that plant this rose here. They plant the rose as an indication of their border between, if anybody owns this piece of land, he's using the rose as a marker of his limits. So they use it for, like here we can see the wheat, and aside you can see the almond trees, and plus the rose. This guy here, he plants potato or tomato, and he's using the rose as a limit.
And one of the things that we see in this footage that's coming next is that by having these farms that are all marked by flowers and having this great diversity of crops and trees that are full of fruits and nuts, and having this water from the river passing through these irrigation canals, that it produces an unbelievably healthy environment. And it's just beautiful. It's stunning actually to be there. And all of the senses are nourished. It looks beautiful. You hear the sound of abundance of birds singing everywhere, and you can see that the crops are abundant, and you can smell the environment in the oil.
All the same way, rose and other kind of crops. So that's the biodiversity I was talking about. Even the birds are different birds here.
A lot of birds here.
A lot.
So Mustafa, how many years have they been cultivating this area in this kind of biodiversity like this?
That's for centuries.
Centuries. Do you know how far back?
So, just what I know, it's more than 300 years.
I always like to remind people that inside every bottle there's a lot more than just the oil. It's actually the whole community. And it's also the community of the plants. In this case, we can see it so clearly because the roses are growing in this very diverse, this region of great biodiversity. So one of the things that is a guiding vision for us at Floracopeia is how do these aromatic treasures benefit communities? How do they support economic prosperity? How do they lift people out of poverty? And this project, like all of our projects, has a really important story behind it.
Here in Morocco, or in this place, women work more than men on the land.
Why is that?
It's a culture. Because, women, they know how, they have the know-how, and they treat the rose better than men. When they pick it, they don't pick it. The man is more aggressive, but women, they work. They don't cheat. Seriously, men cheat, women not.
And so what are the men busy doing when the women are harvesting?
Sometimes nothing, sometimes just they pick the heavy stuff. After women they pick the rows, men come and take
They carry the bags.
They carry the bags.
Gotcha. When you harvest the roses, you hire so many people to come, and when you do the distillation of the cedar wood, you hire so many.
Yes.
And that gives me the idea that the work you're doing here has a very positive impact on the culture.
Yes.
You are employing a lot of people for different things, so tell us about that.
Because our goal is not just to get what we need. For example, for rose, our goal is not to get just the oil itself. We want to help all people here by hiring them. And if we hire one guy, that means that we are hiring not only one person, because that guy is feeding a whole family behind him. He's taking care of the family, so we are taking care of all families. If we have 40 people at work here, that means it's 40 families. We don't take them as a 40 person. It's 40 families that we're taking care of them. We want to be a partner with the people, not just a customer that we can take their products. So we want to be in a partnership with them. They work for us. We don't call them working for us. They work with us. It's not for us. And that's our culture. We wanted to give them this idea, even about how to teach them how to behave and to know what organic means. Because people still, they don't know what's organic, the real idea of organic, because Morocco is still a lot of people that are illiterate. So you need to teach them, educate them day after day how to treat the plant, to have this that this plant or this, when that plant became an oil, a person somewhere in the world will use it, put it in his or her skin, and it's gonna be used by human. So it's not just a plant that a bee is gonna come and take the. So it's from human to human. We want to humanize all our production. So trying to educate them every day, and trying hard just to reach that goal. It won't be easy, but one day we will get it done.
One of the things that I really enjoy about going on these adventures and having these experiences, meeting different kinds of people, is that many times these people have incredible stories, actually all the time. They have these incredible stories about how they got involved with the plants, and sometimes it's because of a revolutionary life change that happens, or in some cases, like with Mustafa, he actually grew up very close to nature, and this work developed naturally throughout his life as a result of being educated to appreciate the natural environment.
We love what we're doing. You know, my father was the first ranger in Morocco after the independence. We grew up in the forest. We grew up with plants. So we love this thing. It's not like, okay, well, let's go make money with our job. No. That's how we grew up.
One of the things that makes rose oil so extraordinary is its preciousness. How many roses it takes just to fill this small bottle. Millions and millions of flowers go into just 1 liter of oil, something like 7,000 pounds to get 1 liter of oil. And when you see this being done, it's really quite impressive. The amount of roses that must be cultivated in the region and harvested. The volume of roses that goes into the stills is quite phenomenal.
In the beginning, they put one ton of water plus rose, and after they add water, and after they open all the valves to let the vapor to go in, to start their hydro distillation. Okay. We are using those bags because they are organic bags. We cannot use plastic or any other thing. Why? Because if by accident a piece of the bag, if it was a plastic, will go there and it will show up with in our analysis. So to make sure that everything is organic, we are using even the bags are organic too.
So we were really impressed and entertained actually to have a tour of this distillery, which is a full modern facility with large stills. And the large stills are actually necessary because for smaller stills, you're not going to get very much oil. You're not going to get very much oil anyway, even with a huge amount of rose petals going in.
As you see, everything is stainless steel. Okay, so that here, that's where he put his rose plus the water, and when he started that hydro distillation, the whole vapor is gonna go over there, where it's gonna be condensed, and that way it's supplied by the cooling water coming from the cooling tower on the other side. That gives you, if the whole thing's gonna come through those tubes and gonna go to that place. As you can see, you can have both the hydrosol and the oil.
At the end, what you can see is the tiny amount of rose oil that's separating on the surface of the hydrosol, that's coming out of these immense stills that these two guys are filling bag after bag full of rose petals. So an immense amount of flower material goes into the distillation process, and we end up with a very, very small amount of very precious oil. So here it is, Rosa Damascena from the village of Maguna, where the Sahara Desert meets the Atlas Mountains. I'm sure that you will really enjoy it, but let's be realistic here. This is really not for everybody, and it's unfortunate because that's really an economic factor. This is an extremely pricey oil, and the reason for that is simply because of all the things that we've just talked about and that Mustafa has introduced us to. It requires acres and acres and acres of land to produce the roses, and it requires tons of roses to produce a small amount of oil. And that's why rose oil has the history that it does. Rose oil is considered one of the most sacred, precious, noble oils from one of the most supreme flowers. And this quality of oil is really quite rare. And the quality of the fragrance is really unsurpassed. And what that tells us is that the therapeutic benefits of this oil, for all the things that we know about it, for its anti-inflammatory properties, for its calming, relaxing, for its mood-enhancing, uplifting, antidepressant properties, all of these kinds of things that we know medically about rose oil, those therapeutic properties, combined with its unsurpassed aromatic profile, in my opinion, really make this a genuine aromatic treasure.